Talk about a weird remaster. So Luigi's Mansion 2, or Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon in correct regions, was the long-awaited sequel to Luigi's Mansion that was originally released on the Nintendo 3DS in 2013. But after over 10 years, it's back on the Switch. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD was released just a few months ago in June 2024 for $60, good grief. So let's compare the two versions to see which is better. Then we'll go head-to-head in 5 categories. These categories are controls, visuals, music, performance, and replay value. I'll compare the two games in each category, and whichever wins will get a point. Whichever game has the most points at the end will be the winner. No way. Starting with the controls. They both control similarly. However, the Switch version brings in the beautiful addition of the second thumbstick. On the 3DS, there was only one thumbstick. It wasn't really a thumbstick, it was more of a dime. The circle pad works fine enough, but I just prefer a regular thumbstick. Even if Luigi's Mansion 2 HD controlled the exact same, but just used the regular thumbstick, it would get the point. But that's not all it does, it gives you the second thumbstick, so it's even better. On the Switch, you can basically look in whatever direction you want. They also made it so you don't have to tilt when you're going over the treacherous gaps like this. You can keep tilt controls on for that if you're insane, but I'm normal, so I'm going to turn those off. Basically everything else is the same though. The 3DS version is perfectly fine though, since the game was designed around that console's limitations. I just like the extra control the second thumbstick gives you, and the fact that you don't have to tilt anymore is a miracle. And the fact that you don't have to tilt anymore is great. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD gets the first point. This one's a bit tricky. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is in HD, it is in the name, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's better. I think it looks fine, the lighting can look a little bit weird sometimes though. It's also a huge shift going from Luigi's Mansion 3, which I think is the best looking game on the Switch, to this. This game kind of looks like how Luigi's Mansion 3 looked when it was first revealed. I think it looks fine enough if the game was like $40 and not $60. It also feels really inconsistent what they give higher quality textures to. Like these gears in old Clockworks look extremely realistic for some reason, but then you go to this pathway and it looks like plastic. The original 3DS version looks pretty good for a 3DS game, plus you have the benefit of the 3D visuals. Although, since it's on the 3DS, the game can look a bit blurry. I think for this I'll just call it a tie. They both have their strengths and weaknesses. The music is literally the exact same. However, I will be giving the original Dark Moon a point for 2 reasons. 1, the music was new when Dark Moon first came out, so it gets points for originality. And 2, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD has a weird musical bug. Whenever you finish a mission, it'll randomly cut to the EGAD's lab theme, but then go back to the results theme. It's just kind of annoying. I don't know why this happens. I don't know why they haven't fixed it yet either. So yeah, Dark Moon gets a point. Both games run at a consistent 30 frames per second. It would have been nice to see 2 HD get 60 frames per second support, but to be completely honest, I can't really tell the difference unless they're shown side by side. I can't recall any frame rate issues with either of them, so that's good. But imagine how embarrassing it would be if a 3DS port lagged on the Switch. And even with the online scare scraper mode, I haven't had too many issues, especially considering how notoriously bad Nintendo Switch Online can be. You'll have the occasional stutter or disconnect, but this is really good for Nintendo Switch Online standards. The 3DS's version was basically the same. You'd get an occasional stutter or disconnect. I will say, the Nintendo Switch version's online works way better nowadays, but I'll still just call this another tie. It's not Dark Moon's fault that the online doesn't work anymore. The replay value is literally the exact same. These are the same game. You get the same amount of playtime out of both. I mean, the only reason I'm gonna give the Switch version the point is because the online still works, and because I don't want this video to end in a tie. So 2 HD gets the point, boom. In conclusion, who's the winner here? Nintendo, because I've spent $100 on this game total. Technically more when you factor in inflation. In reality, I do think the Switch version is better, but I just don't think it's worth $60. I would only really recommend getting it on sale, or if you're a die-hard Luigi's Mansion fan who needs all of the games. That's the main reason I bought it. Now I'm just one game away from having the full Luigi's Mansion series. It just so happens that the last game I need is the arcade game. I wonder how much those are going for.